Hello! Welcome to the first episode of Shatter the Stigma. I am Shastati, and as some of you might know, I have been working towards destigmatizing divorce and making it as normal as possible. So, in as an effort to continue that and to continue telling you all how normal divorce is and how we needn't be treated as damaged goods or to get the same respect that we do, and that a divorce is just a smaller aspect of our lives, you will be surprised at how deep stigma actually is. So, to continue that, I am starting a series from today where I will be talking to a number of people who've been through a divorce, who face society, who are getting remarried again. The kind of stories that are coming in are wonderful, and I cannot wait to show them all to you. So, let's hope this actually works out. So, all the best to us. And moving on to the first person who has accepted my request and is here. So let's go. Hi, Harshni. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation to come here and talk about something that is so important in your life and something that has possibly changed so much for you as well. So we will get straight into the topic, and I would really like to know, like, first of all, you can introduce yourself and like just start off with how your divorce was and what was the stigma that you actually like faced.
Hi, Shashwati. I think first, Shashwati was the person who actually sort of instigated me to talk about this publicly. Right before that, I didn't. So the journey, sort of talking publicly about this, belongs to you. So it's kind of fitting that we're doing this together. Anyway, my name is Harshni. I was married for about 6 years, I think, and change. I am a mother to a 9-year-old right now. And I went through an extremely physically and mentally abusive marriage that didn't change because of location, because of having a kid, because of getting a new job, because of getting a new haircut. Oh, none of these things fixed that. The only thing that fixed that was getting a divorce. So yeah, I got divorced, I think 4 years ago now, and I have been a single mother very happily to my son since then, and I will be getting married in just about a month now to somebody else.
That is amazing. And I think a lot of us, look at you for that kind of hope, and you're like the fairy tale story that, we're all kind of rooting for also. But tell me, as a single mother, um, how was it? What kind of backlash did you get from your family or or society, or just like people around you? Like, did they make it difficult for you, and like how your child coped with this whole change?
My family, and not just my mom and dad and my brother, but my extended family, and then you have the general society and people you meet professionally, right? And I had stigma from the latter two, thankfully not from my immediate family. My parents were extremely supportive of this whole process. They moved in with me. So I work in a sales job, which means that I travel around quite a bit, so they've supported by taking care of my son and all of that, right? But obviously there has been a lot of stigma from the extended clan, so to speak, like, oh, do you know what you're doing, or can't you not grin and bear it for the sake of your kid? We've all seen stuff like this happen to us. It's not like it's something new. And then once I got a job and I progressed in it, it's like, oh, your daughter has a lot of head weight because she's doing really well in her career, but you need to tell her that this is also important and she shouldn't be signing divorce papers. That is one. And all of this was said in the context of, packaged under the umbrella of, oh, you needed a father for your kid. It's not fair that you're depriving him of a father. And I tried countering them, saying, no, I owe him a happy home. I don't owe him a father or anything else. And that literally fell on deaf ears. When it comes to general society, especially as a single mother, there's a lot of, see, when I was looking for a house to move in, it was painful to find a house, right? Where they're like, oh, you're divorced and you have a son, or you're in the process of getting divorced and you want to, because my parents lived in Coimbatore, so I didn't have the luxury of just moving in with them straight, right? I had to find a house. And there was a lot of stigma around, oh, you're a single mother and you're divorced, that means men will take care of you. will be calling on you at all times.
God.
I honestly don't know what the correlation. And I mean, I honestly wish it was like that. I wish my life was as exciting as that, but at that point it wasn't. So yeah, so there's a lot of stigma around, moving, finding houses. And then at school, I try as much as I can to not miss a PTA meeting or something like. But it so happens sometimes that there is only so much you can do. So there was some chatter if my dad goes to some of these things, or that is a grandparent. Oh, you're absent. You're always looking at this. This is not right, and all that. But yeah, stigma has definitely been there. Added to that, there is always single parent guilt, no matter how great you think you are. You miss certain key anniversaries with your kid. You want to be around them, but then you can't because you have work commitments and so on. That's always there. But work wise, professionally, the third thing I was mentioning, I haven't, like, I worked at a terrific startup called Cloudcherry, and they were like, I remember my CEO telling me this. His name is Vinod, and he said, uh, if it means you're paying, 5,000 rupees extra for a flight, but it means that you're getting home in time to tuck your son into sleep, don't even think about it. Go ahead and book that. That's
That's
the kind of company that I worked for. So I didn't face any stigma there, but everywhere else it was there.
I can't even imagine. I mean, like, hats off to you for actually like going through all of it, and what happened with you after you started going like public with it, because there's a particular point there are people around you who know that you've been through a divorce and everything else, but once you put it out there, a lot more people, like acquaintances and all of that, they start to like kind of talk. So how was that experience for you?
Yeah, so talking about this on Instagram, like you said, right? Earlier it was maintained to a smaller circle, and even if more people knew about it, well, they couldn't approach me and talk about it until I started, like, you know what? And this started when you tagged me in a post, and there's so many women reaching out to me, and I was like, wait, I did not realize it was this common for a woman with a child to go through this, and a lot of them they were clear on the legal advice and those kind of things. What they wanted help with was understanding how this will affect my child's psyche. How does it affect? Yesterday, somebody reached out to me saying, "Hey, I have some fixed deposits in my son's name, but his name, I'm going to change his name now that his dad's not in the picture. How does that work, right?"
Yeah.
So opening up on Instagram has been, I mean, a lot of the response has been overwhelmingly positive, right? And it's opened up an avenue to talk and help. A lot of these women who reach out, they just want somebody to hear. And I'm happy to do that and not pass judgment and just listen and just say that, hey, again, there is nothing you can do to prescribe something. You can say, this was my experience when I was in your shoes. This is what happened, and here's what it is. But do whatever feels right for you. But obviously, there has been some well-meaning, backlash as well, coming in saying, "Don't be so negative," or "Why are you focusing on things in the past? You have a beautiful life ahead of you. You should be moving on." In fact, somebody reached out to me to say, "What if 10 years later?" And I said, "Well, I'm not posting anything. That's not true. And if he has a problem 10 years later, he can deal with me about it." And it's not like I can live my life thinking that 10 years later this might happen. Hence, today I will do this. That's quite impossible, right? But most of the reaction has been very positive. So many people reaching out saying that, okay, your story makes me think that, there is something in there for me as well at some point.
I think it's
That's
that power of just relatability. Like when you see someone
absolutely.
having gone through something really similar, then you're not even looking for advice. You're just looking for validation to say that you're going to be okay, kind of thing. So I think that's incredible. But coming to the most wonderful thing happening to you, congratulations. It's just a month
Thank you so
away.
much.
I cannot imagine the excitement that the entire family is going through, considering you're getting married. But what I want to know is, for someone getting married a second time
Yeah,
with a kid, what
yeah.
what what are you going through? Are people making it difficult? How are his family reacting to it? there is the video of your son reacting to the announcement of you getting married is something I have seen a million times, and I don't think I'll ever be over that video. But what about the other? I'm sure. I mean, children are so innocent and wonderful, but it's the adults who make it like really difficult, I'm guessing. So, like, how has that journey been?
So true. First of all, see, when I started going out, my reputation was all around how will Shrey take it, right? But then that problem was solved for me. The more difficult aspect of it was how everybody else will take it, right? So what I did was when I started going out with Siddharth, and I knew that we were serious about each other, I immediately introduced him to Shrey, and I think he's the first person that I've gone out with that I've introduced to Shrey, right? Because one thing I was sure, and it goes back to what Lorelai would say, right? I don't want this to be like a revolving door of people coming in and out of his life. It doesn't make sense. So this was someone I was extremely sure about. One thing that actually helped us with this whole lockdown, because earlier, before the lockdown, we used to go out on our own, but now we were spending a lot of time at each other's places, which meant Shrey had more access to him and so on. So it was quite easy with him. And Siddharth's family is just, I mean, they are incredible. They've never once asked me anything that I would not be comfortable telling them, right? They've never once said, was there a fault on your side? How will Shrey take it? In fact, Siddharth's dad, only thing he said was, at some point, we must think about, Sid officially adopting Shrey because he is part of our family. Why not make it official? And I said, that's wonderful, but you figure out the legal aspects of it. It's too confusing at the moment. So I said, absolutely. So they have been like incredible, right? And his aunts and all of the people, I've met most of his extended family right now, and they've all been very welcoming. In fact, one of his cousins said, hey, you're getting a ready-made son. That's so much fun.
Ready.
It's like whether you're prepared or not, you're getting a ready-made son. And I was like, wow, that's a lovely refreshing way of looking at it, I think. So in terms of, and I've known Sid's brothers for a while, so they are like extremely close to my son, and they're very sweet people and all that. But the stigma or the problems have come trying to figure out the actual religious aspects of the wedding,
Right.
strangely enough, right? Because that is what our parents wanted, a small scale wedding, but they still did want to go through all of that. There is no rule book to say what happens when a divorced single mother marries somebody who's never been married before, right? So a lot of it is left to interpretation, and it's like, oh, should we do this? Should we do that? Should we not do this? And so on. But again, we are not the ones dealing with that. So that's my parents' headache, his parents, they're dealing with that. And that's sort of sorted right now because we finally found a Vadyar or a priest who was like, so what? We know
That's
what we need to do, and here's what it is, right? But there have been people who come to me and said, "Oh, are you sure you want to wear like a show-stopping sari for the wedding?" After all, it's the second time. There's been people who come and say, "Should you go for that blouse design? I mean, you have a kid, and we don't know how he'll feel about it." And there have been people who come and say, "Yeah, maybe you should do your own makeup because it's your second wedding." I'm like, okay, how does any of that correlate with anything else? And yeah, so we've had stuff around that, but I think otherwise, which honestly, that was something I knew was coming. People will have opinions. They'll be like, oh, how will your son be involved in the wedding? I said, of course he'll be involved in the wedding. The invitations are going out in his name. So he's going to be involved. He's going to be the entertainer for a cocktail party. Of course, he's going to be. So, you know, it keeps coming. There are people who reach out every other week. There'll be something or the other that says, "Oh, can you mention this particular word in the context of a divorce? Can you say Kanya Dhanam in the context of a divorce?" I'm like, okay, don't call it that. Call it whatever you want. But yeah, those kind of things have definitely come up.
Yeah, I mean, it's all I think the little things that, you tend to face when like this thing is happening. But then I also think like the support that you get from Siddharth's parents or even like your parents, I think just creating that wall of protection to like
Absolutely.
from society itself like makes a very big difference. And of course, Shrey also.
100%. See, in fact, one of the things they told us was comments are inevitable. Even in a wedding that's, for lack of a better word, traditional, arranged marriage, whatever it is, somebody will comment on the food, somebody will comment on the bride's clothes, somebody will comment on this not being there. So, since parents, in fact, told me comments are inevitable, whether it's about that, whether it's about you. But at the end of the day, please remember that this is just one day. The rest of your life, you're free to live however you want. You do whatever you want, but just totally with you. So if there are comments, just let it go. So I think that's a good approach, honestly. It's like, okay, one day we'll compromise. You comment, it's
It
okay.
really, I think it really is. But if, say, for example, you need to say something to as a general advice or whatever you want to tell women who want to get remarried or who are looking for it, or even single mothers who are looking for another partner in life or want to get remarried, is there anything you want to tell? Is there anything that you think is really important that people need to follow?
I think one key thing that really helped me, again, this is, I'm just speaking from experience, right? When you go through something like an abusive marriage or a really bad marriage, the first casualty of that is trust. You find it really, really hard to trust anyone, right? To open yourself again because you're worried that they will hurt you. So one of the things that, and this happened to me for like 3, 4 years after the divorce, I was struggling with all of this. Then one of my friends called Divya, she is a therapist. She helped me with this particular, like I would be so scared that the other person would hurt me that I would do something to sabotage that relationship myself, right? Like, you know what, I will one up you and I'll ensure that this is done, that way nobody hurts me.
Yeah.
But she made me see that. She held up a mirror and she said, look, what you're doing is wrong. I'm not saying everybody needs therapy. I'm just saying that you need to sort of take time to fix or deal with all that hurt and trauma before you go, because it's so easy to project it on somebody else. And you never know, that might have been the person you were destined to be with or whatever, right? So I think that that's the one thing. And after that, when you meet that person, no matter how hard it is, you got to trust them with absolute openness and honesty. Those two things I would definitely watch out for.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Harshni. I think this was
Thank you.
fantastic. And I am really, really looking forward to, seeing you get married and then, have this amazing life in front of you, for Shrey,
Thank
for
you.
Siddharth, all of you as one unit. And thank you for making time. Thank you for talking to me.
Thank you so much. It was lovely
Super,
talking to
super,
you.
super happy with